What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, sorry got cut off yesterday. Had some technical problems. Those shouldn't happen again. So, didn't get to WrestleMania yesterday. We will get to that today, as well as the Raw after WrestleMania as well. We'll double up on wrestling today. But not a problem because we all love wrestling. But first, let's jump in to the NBA playoffs. I talked with Alec yesterday about NBA and NHL playoffs. That was a lot of fun. Continuing on, last night, Pacers beat the Bucks 123 to 115. They go up 2-0 in the series. Pascal Siakam 24-11 in the win. No, another big game for Giannis was not enough. 30-14, 7 for him. Dame struggled in his return to the lineup. Not should be too much of a surprise. He missed a lot of time with a heart problem. Pacers go up 2-0. I have a hard time seeing the Bucks really come back from the series. I picked Indiana to win the series. But, I picked the Bucks to win the series. So I thought they were going to have Dame back by, actually, no. Who did I pick? I forget. Maybe I did pick Indiana. I forgot who exactly I picked, but I believe I picked Indiana. The Bucks just isn't that good. I think we knew Dame was not going to play at least the first game or two. And even with those two guys healthy, first of all, who knew if Dame was going to be Dame? Missing a lot of time because of a heart problem. So who knew if that was going to, if he was going to be the same player? And just their team isn't that good. Besides them, there's really nothing else there. Kyle Kuzma's been really bad. Brook Lopez isn't the same player. Their bench is very thin. They're not very good defensively. They're not well coached. Doc Rivers is overrated as he gets as a coach in the NBA. Indiana, they didn't take as big of a step forward as I would have thought, but they're still a good team. They won 50 games. They're still talented offensively. They got a tiny bit better defensively. Still aren't great, but they're also very deep. I had them winning, and almost the series is over. If Dame finds himself, maybe Bucks, just those two guys, firepower, can carry them over, but I don't see it. I see Indiana wrapping this up rather quickly. Thunder get past the Grizzlies without much trouble again, 118-99, 24-6 for Jalen Williams. I don't see Memphis winning more than one game. You get the next few in Memphis, so maybe they get lucky. They get the home crowd behind them and they grab one, but I'd be shocked if it even gets to a fifth game at this point. Thunder are one game by 51 and one by 19 more in game two. Lakers over Timberwolves 94-85. They win by 9. The Lakers were up big going into the half, even into the fourth quarter. They were up by, I think, 15. They were up, I think 16 or something like that going into the fourth quarter. Timberwolves come back, but Lakers pull away in the end. 31-12-9 from Luka. Ran 27 in the loss, so he actually did play pretty well. Though he had a bad turnover late in that game. Lakers evened up the series at 1 game apiece in that one. And congratulations to Peyton Pritchard. He wins Sixth Man of the Year. He beats out Ty Jerome and Malik Beasley. Pritchard had the best season of his career. He averaged 14 points a game here, shot 47% from the field, 4% from 3, 84% from the line. He had the best year of his career. Of course, last year gained a lot of attention. He hit those two buzz beaters from half court in the first half in the playoffs last year. He's always been like a potential future asset for the Celtics. A guy been kind of slowly getting better each year, developed into at least a serviceable role player. But this year became a legit six man for the Boston Celtics. Who of course already have a dominant starting lineup when healthy, and he wins the Sixth Man of the Year as members of the Boston Celtics. And then we got the NHL playoffs continuing on last night. Hurricanes beat the Devils 3-1 in game 2. 25 save from Frederik Andersen. Carolina goes up 2-0. I picked Carolina to win the series. They get 6. This series, goes back to New Jersey now, goes back to Prudential Center. Unless they grab 2 at home, if they win 2 or 3 at home, I think the series is over. Devils, they really haven't played very well really since the All-Star break. Jack Hughes is out. They got a lot of injuries. So, not surprised that Carolina had the upper hand there. Leafs beat the Senators 3-2 in overtime. Max Domi, first career OT winner for him. And Leafs go up 2-0. I thought Ottawa could win this series. They're playing well. And it's the Leafs. The Leafs are up 2-0. What could go wrong? It's Toronto. From them, they should definitely try and go out and win game 3. Because if not, now it's the old Toronto curse coming back. Now it's only 2-1. You're on the road again in Game 4. I found that I make sure to close this out sooner rather than later. They're up 2 games. Florida takes Game 1 against Tampa. They win 6-2. 2 goals and an assist from it for Matthew Tkachuk. 2 goals for Nate Schmidt as well. Florida wins 6-2 to go up 1-0 in the series. And Wild over the Golden Knights 5-2 to even up that series in 1 game apiece. I picked Vegas to kind of blow through the Wild, but the series is 1 game apiece as well. Get past Vegas, not much of a problem. In Game 2, Kaprizov had 2 goals and an assist in that one. Also, the New York Islanders are parting ways with Lou Lamoriello. His contract was out. They decided not to renew his contract. They will move on from Lou Lamoriello, their president of hockey operations and general manager, head hockey operations guy, after 7 seasons. It was about time. This is long overdue. Lou's had a great career. He was the architect of those great Devils teams in the late 90s into the early 2000s. He was also a GM in Toronto before he took the Islanders job. But the guy's been too in love with his veterans. You know, the guy took over. He hires a Stanley Cup winning head coach and future Hall of Famer Barry Trotz as his head coach, but was not able to re-sign John Tavares, which set them back. After a couple of decent years where they were in the conference finals and back-to-back year, looked like he was finally building something. His love for veterans kind of took over. There was too many, signing a 42-year-old Zdeno Chara who couldn't skate anymore. Keep running him back for a couple of years at the very end of his career. And he's built what is just a really old team that's not very good. Their farm system's awful. The Sorokin contract hasn't looked good. Obviously, he just traded away Brock Nelson at the trade deadline, and the team simply isn't that good. After firing, he ended up firing Barry Trotz for God knows why. Trotz almost made the playoffs with a ton of injuries and the COVID that year. And he promoted his assistant, Lane Lampert, who was awful. He lasted, a year and a half, 2 years. And they replaced him with Patrick Waugh, who's not a horrible coach, but not a great one either. Also a bit of a nut. He's in his second season, first full one, and has not gone according to plan. He snuck them into the playoffs last year, but they got annihilated as usual. This year, didn't even get that close to the playoffs this year. And I believe he looks like he's coming back. The players like him. However, the fans, I don't think like him too much. They suck. The Ranger fans, it's funny to see, but from an Islander fan perspective, I can imagine this is dreadful because I don't know where you go from here. Looks like, from what I've heard, the coach is coming back. You're basically the New Orleans Saints of the NHL. Your team is not that good. Really old, but not quite bad enough to compete to possibly get a top lottery pick and draft a star player. And you're not good enough to make the playoffs. Definitely not good enough to make a playoff run. Your farm system is absolutely horrible. Trust me, I go to school with Sacred Heart. The Bridgeport Islanders play down the street, and they are absolutely dreadful. One of the worst teams in all of the AHL, if not the worst. They're just disgustingly bad. Thank God they have some cool activities to do for kids and stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't think they would get 20 people in any game. Because, God, they are unwatchable, the Bridgeport Islanders. But Lou Lamoriello was out after 7 seasons with the New York Islanders. So let's recap WrestleMania. Meant to do it yesterday. Had some issues with the recording, so wasn't able to do it, as you saw yesterday. But let's get into it. Night 1, kicked off with Jey Uso against Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. Jey Uso wins. He completes the underdog story, and he overcomes Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship, his first world title in WWE. Look, I get Jey's not the best wrestler in the world, but he deserves this. He's done this for a long time. He's worked really hard. He's finally out of the shadow of a lot of those guys in his family, Roman Reigns, all those guys. He's the man. Jey Uso is your new World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Gunther. Overall, this was a solid match. Pretty good opener. The only thing I would have liked, Gunther tapped out very quickly. I would have liked to see him maybe sit in that chokehold a little bit more. Who knows? Maybe he's on the record saying he would have probably preferred to fight, someone a little bit, bigger than Jey Uso, a bigger, more established star than Jey Uso. Maybe he just, wasn't happy that Jey was his opponent. part of it might have been the storyline last year with Sami Zayn when Zayn ended his very long record-breaking Intercontinental title reign. Was like, oh, Sami's not as big and strong and as talented as Gunther, and he didn't think he could do it. And Chad Gable had to convince him that you can do it, and he overcame the odds. And now, Jesus is a guy who's not as good in the ring as Gunther. He's not as big, not as strong, not as fast. And he thought he wasn't sure if he could do it. And then Jimmy Uso had to convince him, yes, you can do it. You got to have confidence in yourself. So it was kind of the same thing. I think he would have liked, to drop it to a bigger star, whether that be Randy Orton or CM Punk or Seth Rollins, something like that. But I'm very happy that Jey Uso is the World Heavyweight Champion, for sure. And then he had the New Day against the Warriors for the World Tag Team titles. New Day win. This is a pretty underwhelming match. I didn't expect much. I was probably the least excited for this match of any of the matches. Maybe outside of the women's tag match, but we'll get to that later. Certainly, I was not excited for this match. Probably the least amount of hype whatsoever. I'm happy the New Day won. Ever since they turned heel, I was really excited, but they haven't really done anything with them. The Warriors really haven't done anything with the tag titles. Only really put it on them because JD and Finn's run, but tag titles was not very good. So I'm happy that they did. I don't mind they won by cheating. That fits their characters well, but that match was just not good. Just uneventful. That could have been way better. Next match was Jade Cargill against Naomi. Jade Cargill wins. This match was really underwhelming. This was a really good story. You had a really good build. You got two very talented in-ring wrestlers. And that's all you gave us. I get the match was short. But, you can still have a really good match, even if it's short. Even if you only have, not everyone's going to get that 20, 30-minute match. There are going to be some matches on WrestleMania cards of how many matches there are that are only going to be 7, 8 minutes long. But you can still have a really good match, and they just didn't. It was really underwhelming. But Jade does win. I'm happy that she won. The right woman won. The Samoan World Jacob Fatu defeats LA Knight to become the new United States champion. Very happy for Jacob Fatu. That guy is as talented as it gets in this business. He is amazing. That was a very good match. One of the better ones on night one for sure. And really throughout all of WrestleMania. That was a great match. Fatu wins. Very happy for him. He is uberly talented. He's the new U.S. champion. And then we had El Grande Americano beats Rey Fenix. Was supposed to be against Rey Mysterio. Rey had a legit injury right before WrestleMania. He had to pull out of the match. Rey Fenix takes over. By the way, I'm very happy that Lucha Libre AAA is now a part of WWE. I think that's really cool. But El Grande Americano wins. That match could have been better. El Grande Americano, of course, we're all assuming it's Shea Gable, right? I mean, just read between the lines. He's a really talented in-ring guy, really athletic. Rey Fenix is a really exciting wrestler, really fun to watch. Obviously, an incredible athlete as well in his own right. I thought that could have been a little bit better. I would have liked to see them unmask El Grande. I get you like to do it against Rey. The match really needed Rey. I get he's not medically cleared. He should have at least been out there, though. There's definitely something missing here. The match was just It could have been better. We had Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffy time continues on as Tiffy wins the match. This match, again, could have been a lot better. This build was pretty exciting, but you could tell there was no chemistry between these two women. They both went off script in their promo. They don't like each other. But I'm glad Tiffy won. We're very upset if Charlotte won. I've loved Charlotte Flair for a long time. One of the all-time greats, but I think it's time for her to go. She's had an incredible career, but she's been part-time for a long time. Whatever work she's done through her face is horrible. And it's clear she's a bit difficult to work with. How she's been divorced 3 times already. She's only 4 years old. I'm just saying. Tiffy mentioned in her promo obviously a couple of weeks ago. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's overstayed her welcome. And I think it's time for her to maybe hang it up. But Tiffany Stratton retains the title. And then in a triple threat, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Incredible match. Seth Rollins wins as Paul Heyman turns on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns, hits them both with low blows, and gives the chair to Seth Rollins. He bashes Roman in the back of it and picks up the win. Absolutely amazing. Take a bow, all four of them. Incredible match, incredible storytelling. Seth Rollins wins for triple threat in an incredible main event. That Ruby saved a pretty mediocre night one WrestleMania. But on to night two, we opened up with a triple threat for the women's world title between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. By the way, Bianca's entrance was very cool. She hugged her stepdaughter. That was very cool. Io Sky wins and she retains the women's world title. That was awesome. Really good match. Great ending with Io hitting the moonsault. Io Sky, she is amazing. Okay, she is so good. One of the best in-ring wrestlers in the entire world, at least on the women's side. Incredible opener. Io retains. Right decision. Then we had Drew McIntyre against Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. Love Damian Priest's entrance as Slayer played him to the ring. And Drew McIntyre wins. Really good match. A lot of cool spots in this from Priest chokes him with a chair around his neck. The ending with McIntyre claymoring Priest into a chair, lodged in the ropes. Really good match. Happy that Drew won. Happy with the way he's been booked throughout the year. He had the feud of the year, maybe even of the last 5 years with CM Punk. And then you had him do like that, like kill the bloodline little tour there, which I like. They just kind of dropped it. Then you did the feud with Sami Zayn. You just kind of dropped it out of nowhere. Then he was feuding with Jimmy Uso, which you did not really book very well. Then you just dropped it out of nowhere. But thankfully, they finally had a good build with him and Priest, and they had him defeat Damian Priest in the match. And so I guess what's next for both guys. McIntyre wins. Then Fatal 4 for the Intercontinental title. Braun Baker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Dom Mysterio wins. And he is your new Intercontinental Champion. Very happy for Dominic Mysterio. That was a great match, great ending. He had Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, followed by a frog splash from Dom Mysterio. He got some serious high on that too. Great move to end. Great ending. And he runs to the ring afterwards. I'm not sure if that was scripted, but I think he's won his moment, and he deserves it. He's worked really hard, become one of the better talents that wrestling has today. Very happy he is your new Intercontinental Champion. Really good match. Then we had AJ Styles against Logan Paul. This is a decent match. Logan Paul wins, a bit of a surprise. The way it ended was a little bit surprising. Obviously, Logan Paul's little guy tried to give him the brass knuckles, but then Karrion Kross fought him off, and he tried to hand the brass knuckles to AJ Styles. He pleaded with him. Then AJ took him and spiked him, went back in the ring, but off the distraction, Logan Paul wins. This was a decent match. AJ's had better WrestleMania matches. Even Logan Paul's had better matches himself. They're both very talented in the ring. However, Logan Paul, I think from an in-ring perspective, is actually one of the better ones the wrestling has. Say what you want about him, he's great in the ring. AJ Styles is one of the greatest in-ring competitors ever. Also, his WrestleMania resume is off the charts. It's insanely good. So, I do think this will lead to Karrion Kross and AJ Styles having a really good feud. I hope Karrion Kross gets pushed. More on him in a little bit. Randy Orton, of course, his surprise opponent was Joe Hendry. Say his name, and he appears. Was a very short match, but unfortunately, Kevin Owens getting injured really is a shame because that was going to be such a good match. It was a great build, great feud, long-term storytelling. But this was just going to be a moment. Either way, we got an older guy who's obviously a old-time great in Orton against a younger up-and-coming guy in Hendry, who's the TNA champ, obviously. Hendry got a couple of moves in. He did his little smile into the camera, and then RKO's him. Then he RKO's him again. He did his little own version of Hendry's smile thing. I do feel really bad for Randy Orton. He hadn't won at WrestleMania since 2017. I think it's been even further since he had won a singles match on a PLA, and he only gets a 5-minute match. I do feel bad for Randy Orton, but that was a fun moment. And a lot of the guys backstage enjoyed it. It was a fun moment for Joe Hendry. He's as over as it gets. Women's Tag Team Championship match was Lyra Valkyria. Well, champs were Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Lyra Valkyria. Was supposed to be Bayley. She was attacked prior to night one. Lyra had to find a new partner, and it was the man, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is back. So glad to see it. She's been out almost a year. So glad she's back. One of the all-time greats. And Lyra and Becky pick up the win. They are your new women's tag champions. Great match, great moment. And then the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. John Cena wins, and he stands alone. He is your 17-time world champion. However, that match was not very good. Really lackluster. I don't mind that it was slow paced and Cena didn't do anything for his entrance. He told y'all, you guys get nothing. I'm gonna ruin wrestling. Last true champion. It fits his character perfectly. Where was The Rock? If you weren't going to have him show up at WrestleMania, you did not need him for the Cena heel turn. You could have turned Cena heel without him. And apparently he went on the McAfee show and said that Aaron Emanuel from the head of TKO called him and said that the ticket sales were slow, so he called him to do him a favor to help with that. Like, come on, guys. Aaron Emanuel seems like a nice guy, and obviously TKO, they own the WWE ever since they bought it. WWE's been great, but you gotta let Triple H do his thing, okay? I'm sorry, you don't know crap about wrestling, okay? This is not the UFC. You think it's the UFC. You think it's the same thing. It is not, okay? Give me a break. Okay, what a joke that was. Travis Scott was way too involved in that match. I'm happy Cody got his leg back, but he should not have cost Cody the title. I like the thing where Cody couldn't pull the trigger on hitting Cena with the belt. Remember, Cena said, I don't have to wrestle the BE. He also said, you got to choose to be a good guy or you got to choose to win. Fits perfectly with the build, but Travis Scott, the guy who beat Roman Reigns' 1,300-day plus title reign and is, appearing 2, 3, 4 times a week, defending the championship for the last year plus, should not have lost because Travis Scott interfered. But lackluster match, unfortunately. WrestleMania as a whole could have been better, but not horrible. But I am very happy John Cena is the champion. Now to the Raw for WrestleMania. This was awesome. We kicked off with John Cena, and he gave a really good promo. I love it. He wore the championship backwards. It's so funny. He gave a good promo, and then in the end, Randy Orton sneaks from behind and hits him with an RKO. Please give me a Cena and Orton feud one more time. I need this, and I think I deserve it. Please, please, please. I am so excited for that. Really cool opening segment. Then we had Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch had a rematch for the women's tag titles against Raquel and Liv, and Raquel and Liv actually win back their women's tag titles. And after the match, Becky attacks Lyra Valkyria. Becky turns heel. Who would have thought? But so I know you don't like playing hot potato with the championships, but I'm happy that Becky is a heel, and I assume we'll get a feud between her and Lyra Valkyria for the Intercontinental Championship. And then we got the New Day came out. They cut a little promo. Then they were interrupted by Alpha Academy, Otis Akira Tozawa, and Maxime Dupri. But then Rusev came out. There are rumors that Rusev officially had to re-sign with the WWE. He came out and he ended up getting Otis to pass out. I am happy he's back. He's my favorite, but when he was doing that Rusev Day stuff with Aiden English, he was over as hell. He's good in the ring. He did get Def Rubber a little bit with his theme song, but he appears to be a heel. By the way, he looks incredible too. He got in really good shape since we last saw him. Rusev is back. Then we have Karrion Kross and AJ Styles backstage. Again, please push Karrion Kross more on him. Surely we had Io Sky against Stephanie Vacker. She was cutting the promo, which actually was very good. Stephanie Vacker, the women's champ, came out and challenged Io Sky, and Pierce came out and said, do the fans want it? It's like, all right, let's do it. Overall, it was a very good match, but it was interrupted via disqualification, ended up being a no contest when, at first, Roxanne Perez, another top NXT star, came out. And then Julia, the former NXT champion, who lost to Vacker months ago, made her return from injury. She came out, but then she was fought off by Rhea Ripley, who, of course, stared down Io Sky. That was a really awesome segment. I loved it. All 4 women are really, of course, as talented in the ring as it gets. But that was a really cool segment. Stephanie Vacker is awesome. Julie's one of the most talented wrestlers in the entire world. Then we had Jey Uso came out. He did his awesome entrance. And then Obviously, Jim Uso came out and they separated. Then Sami Zayn returned and gave Jey Uso his flowers. Then Gunther came out, and we came out of commercial, and Gunther was in the face of Michael Cole and McAfee. He's screaming at Michael Cole, saying like, "Oh, saying how like he thought like, oh, you should have." You're basically saying you're playing on my downfall, basically. And Michael Cole was like, Gunther, what do you want me to do? And then Gunther comes around, and then Cole stands up and says, Gunther, not for nothing, I'm not the one who tapped out. And then he smacked the headset off Cole's face. McAfee tried to step in front of Cole, and then he got shoved. Then he went to lock Michael Cole in the chokehold. McAfee fights him off, and he ends up getting locked in a chokehold. And then ends up passing out. And then Pierce got out of the arena. And then Michael Cole and a bunch of people help McAfee to the back. And then eventually Pierce was like, why don't you take the night off? And Michael Cole's like, I'm not going to let some blowy not let me do my job. And Pierce was like, you've been through a lot. Why don't you take the night off? And then Michael Cole says, I'm not doing it. I'm going out to do my job. That was awesome, by the way. And the crowd gave him his flowers, too. Michael Cole is the man. Greatest of all time. Obviously, they had Joe Tessitore sub in. And so Michael Cole sold that whole segment and the rest of the show like a champ. Absolute perfection for Michael Cole there. Adamo Mysterio versus Penta for the IC title. Adamo Mysterio wins with the help of the Judgment Day, including a returning JD McDonough. So it was just an okay match, but JD McDonough is back. Judgment Day on the same page for now. We'll see what happens with Finn Balor. And then Seth Rollins, in his yellow suit, comes out with Paul Heyman. He starts to cut a promo. CM Punk comes out, and they started fighting. But then Roman Reigns came out. At first, he spears Rollins. Then he hits Superman punch to Heyman. And then, as he was about to spear Heyman, Braun Breaker out of nowhere comes out and spears Roman Reigns. And then he looks at Rollins and Heyman, and then he spears CM Punk. Braun Breaker has joined Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. This is perfect. Breaker needed Paul Heyman more than anything. This is absolute perfect marriage. Very happy about this. So excited to see where it goes. That's all I have for you guys today for the most part. Before we close out, there was a viral interview not really an interview, but a viral moment that went blew up all over social media with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Main Karrion Kross cutting a fiery promo on this wrestling show or wrestling podcast. I think it was Peter Rosenberg and somebody else. And here it is.
Let's talk about how awesome it is that Logan Paul just won. And let's talk about, Sam, what Logan Paul represents. The shortcut. Feels so good to be here. Feels so good to be in the business. Thinking about all of the funerals that I wasn't able to attend for the last 11 years in this business, all the holidays I missed. I could have just started a YouTube channel, could have just jumped in there with AJ Styles. Feels really good, right? It's awesome. It's really good.
Do you guys know we have 25 years combined experience, and what are we doing on Mania?
Well, they know because they're normal human beings, and they actually love professional wrestling, but apparently that doesn't mean shit anymore. That doesn't mean shit. All I asked Alan to do was, for once, to not think about just himself. Think about everybody in the back, and think about the professional wrestling fans. That's all I wanted him to do. Sometimes, to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. But he's a narcissist, and he had to do it his way. Hey, Alan, how many more WrestleManias do you have in your system? Probably, I don't know, one. Maybe this is the last one, and you just pissed that away. For what? For what? For your way? Thanks a lot, bud. I really appreciate it. You want to know what the best advice I ever got? It was from Bill Goldberg. 2021, back when I was in the Twilight Zone, you know what I mean? I'm wrestling for gasoline. It was awesome. Let me tell you all about it. Bill goes, hey, Cross, you know what? You remind me a lot of me. I go, I think we have different styles, Bill, but I really appreciate that. Do you have any advice for me? He goes, you know what? You just got to be a good soldier. A good soldier is what he said. So I decided to be a good soldier. You know what happened? They released me. And then I come back. You know what being a good soldier gets you, everybody here? Just so in case you're wondering, you want the back scoop here. Being a good soldier gets your times cut. Being a good soldier means that people come up to you and say, hey, you got any great ideas? Yeah, here it is from Scarlett. No. that's a little too great. We're looking just for good ideas. That's for those guys over there. That's what being a good soldier is, okay? Being a good soldier is coming to your hometown where you cut your teeth when you got started and not being on the card. It's all about viral moments now. That's what it's all about, viral moments. Well, Guy, everybody's been telling me that I got to become undeniable. And as soon as it happens, they ignore it and they shut it down. I never asked to wrestle Randy. I never asked. That happened organically, and you ignored it for a viral moment. And good on Joe. Nothing against him. But you ignored it. And the crowd told you exactly how they felt about me on SmackDown when I was eliminated. And you ignored it. Become undeniable. My ass. My ass. You want a viral moment? On behalf of all of the true fans of professional wrestling, Guy with the suit and tie in the truck, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Cross. No. Fuck it.
Here are my thoughts on it. I loved it. First of all, that was an incredible promo from Cross. That was cinema. And also, I don't blame him. As you see, kind of started in character, kind of like, oh yeah, it's just a shoot. Then you can see kind of goes off script, and he gets really angry. I don't blame him. This guy came up in NXT. He was great. They put him on the main roster. They did nothing with him. They let him go. They bring him back. They've done nothing with him. Like you put him in a group with the AOP. Nothing really came about that. You had a terrible feud with Legado del Fantasma. You had a lackluster feud with the Wyatt Six. We haven't seen since for whatever god awful reason. Then you let the AOP go. You let Paul Ellering go. And now you've just finally, over the last couple of weeks, brought back his old theme. And you're giving him a legit feud. It looks like with AJ Styles. He had the match with AJ Styles. He was in the Under the Giant Battle Royal. The crowd loves him. This guy has incredible character work. He's really good in the ring. He's good in the mic. He's the full package. Push, carrying Cross to the moon. I understand his frustration. I don't blame him one bit. That's all we got for you guys today. No show tomorrow. I'm traveling back to school. Most likely a show Friday. Back in the studio. Till next time. So long. Have a great day.